Hey guys, I'm back with another process video. I'm hoping the volume will be a little louder on this one, but I can't promise it. I think I fixed the issue. This very first photo that you see is the stuff that I pulled out to make this layout, and with the exception of enamel dots, I think I pretty closely stuck to the stuff I pulled. Here I'm using a Christy Tomlinson mask to spray some mist, and the first mist that you see me spraying is a sprinkler in the color Lagoon from October Afternoon, and then I have some Mr. Huey and Buttercup. The colors for this layout were inspired by my scrap room. I've been adding a ton of decor to my scrap room, and that'll be a video in the future, but here's a little peek into the color tones in my scrap room, and I just was inspired to do a layout as well. So as I'm drawing this, I just wanted to let you guys know that I don't normally pull wood veneers, flares, or enamel dots out to prepare for a layout because those are right on my desk area, and so I just grab those as I go. It's not somewhere else in my room. So I just wanted to let you know that because oftentimes people ask why they don't see that on my desk, and that's why. Here I'm just trying to add some yellow to the layout. Most of the papers that I used are from the Dear Lizzie Polka Dot Party collection, which this yellow polka dot paper is as well. And now I knew that I wanted to use this floral pattern to sort of frame my photo. That's a photo of Reagan that I made closer up when we were at a goat farm. So I just like her look in the photo, and just she looks very contemplative, and so I wanted to sort of capture this moment in her life because she's getting older every day and looks different every day. Here I'm cutting a cut apart that says I love you more than ice cream, and that's sort of where my title developed from. It's just going to be Ray, I love you more than ice cream. And here I'm just looking through the papers trying to find what else I want to sort of layer to add a little more depth. I felt like it needed something on that right hand side, and so I go for this polka dot paper that's also from Polka Dot Party. Those of you that know the Polka Dot Party collection, it has a lot of scribbles on it. It almost looks like Elizabeth Kirchner used a pencil and scribbled on some of the papers. So instead of using my sewing machine, I use a marker here to line everything because since there's doodles already on the paper, I thought why not doodle myself using a precision pen. So now I'm just going through and lining all these papers. I end up cutting that polka dot one in half because I didn't need that much bulk on the layout. And I'm going to lay them back down the way that I had them. And so going back to the colors of my scrap room, I know you guys have seen the color of the walls, which is almost like a pale greenish blue. But I've added teal and like lemon yellow, white, and gray. And I made a lot of my own artwork and stuff, so I'll be showing that to you soon. Okay, so here I'm laying everything back out, and that's going to be like basically the basis for my layout. I really like the way that doily sprayed. It pops really well, and once in a while I just feel like I need to pull my mists out and use them because sometimes they sit there and they don't go on a layout, and this was a good opportunity to use it. That little piece of polka dot teal fabric that I put up top is a Studio Calico fabric. They don't make those anymore, but I have quite a few. I probably have like 10 different ones that are cut into, and they last a really long time. They come in a 4x12 sheet, so there's plenty of them, and they're made of fabric. And sometimes I staple them on, but here in this layout I didn't because I knew I was going to use gold accents, and it tends to bother me when I staple in silver and I'm using gold. So now this is a very old Sassafras collection banner sheet, and it had some really great yellow circles that sort of match the polka dots on the top, and I cover the other half because it's like khaki and yellow, so I cover the other half and just use that polka dot to sort of bring the yellow down to another part of the page. And I knew I wanted a banner in the corner, so now I'm just contemplating which banner I want to use, and I end up going with this blue one right here. And the paper is really easy to manipulate, so I'm just sort of bending it as I push down the sticker, and that seemed to work really fine. I did keep these 3 banners that I cut off. I thought I was going to use them somewhere else on the layout, but I wasn't able to, so I just stick them back on the sticker sheet to maybe use for a future project. Every time I have a little island in the center of my scrap room that's made by 2 Alex units. on wheels, and I always keep one of them clear so that as I'm using products, I can put them there and not clutter my desk. I find that I scrapbook better when I stay organized, so I like to keep my workspace very clear. Maybe I'll do a video about how I do that in the future. Now I'm just taking a look at these polka dot party stickers, and I'm trying to decide what accents I want to use. And I felt that the bottom of that cut apart was a little plain, so I add a cluster of flowers to match the background paper that's surrounding my photo. And then I also use a light teal colored heart, and then no, like one's navy and one's like aqua, and I put one on pop dots to just be dimensional. So you'll see that here. And a little later on, I add a yellow enamel dot because I feel like there needs to be some yellow down there. I'm not sure what I'm working on right now. Oh, there were two of those border pieces left, and I put those on the bottom, and I plan on covering the khaki part with this floral paper. That's yet another scrap from the one that I used behind the photo. So I'm laying that down here. And then again, just to keep some consistency, I'm cutting another part of that fabric from Studio Calico, and I'm putting that in the bottom left-hand corner. This layout came together really quick. I think it took me about 45 minutes in total, which is fast for me. Normally it takes me about an hour to an hour and 15 to do a layout. So now I'm using this little arrow from the sticker collection, and it says I love this, and it's going to point to Reagan, and it's that beautiful teal color, and I'm just putting it on dimensionals. I like to do that with sticker embellishments because they can get lost if you just lay them flat. So if you put them on dimensionals, it just keeps some dimension in your project. There I'm placing some yellow and white freckled fawn airmail washi, and I don't pick out washi tapes beforehand because those are right to the left of my desk. So I knew I just needed something to sort of ground the Ray ... and that made it not get lost in the background. So these stickers that I'm using are called Shoebox, and they're like a creamy white glitter sticker, and I got them at Marshall's a long time ago, and on this layout I used my last E, so that's kind of a bummer because you always need an E in some part of a title, so I'm kind of sad about that, but maybe I'll find them again. And then I also added a pinwheel from the Pier collection that had all of the colors I was using, and it also added a little bit of gold to the layout because I knew I wanted to use a gold geotag. I just sprinkled a little bit of those same two dyes on the bottom left-hand side just to keep with consistency and to make draw your eye across the page. And these gold geotags I just got with Sherry. We went to the local scrapbook store to drop off my design team projects that I never did a video on, which is kind of a bummer, but if you go to my blog, you can see those two projects, and pretty soon I'll have some new projects coming out too for Whimsidoodle, so check them out. And then I'm adding a little bit of gold right at the top here. I didn't like that right in the center of the geotag you see half of a paper, so I added an enamel dot in the middle to just distract your eye from that. And then there's where I added one to the hearts on the bottom. Now I was just sorting through my enamel dots, making sure I wanted to stick with the yellow that I chose. It was a little off the yellow in the other papers, but you can barely tell in that small dot. So now I know I want to stamp this Allison Kraft So Sweet stamp because I figured since I said I love her more than ice cream and ice cream's sweet, plus her photo is sweet, it just stuck with the theme. But since it's a rubber red stamp, you can't really tell exactly where you're stamping, so I'm using this Stamp-A-Majig to sort of line it up. And I'm stamping it in this teal dye ink that's from, oh no, actually it's a chalk ink, and it's from Versamagic, and it's called Ocean Depth. So I stamped it right there on the bottom. Now I'm just figuring out the final details of what I want to do on this layout. So originally I add an enamel dot in the O in So Sweet, but you'll see later that I changed that. I wasn't satisfied with the way that it looked, and I knew I wanted to add some of these plastic stars. And so one of my pet peeves is I already used hearts on the photo, and so sometimes when I use hearts, I don't like to use stars or vice versa. It bothers me to have both on a layout. However, I just went with it on this layout, which is not like me, and I'm satisfied with the result, so I'm glad I didn't let that change my mind, but normally for some reason that just bothers me. I'm looking through my little tag thing here to see if I want to add any, but most of the tags that matched were fishtail banner tags, and there was no room to lay them facing down on the bottom of the photo since that's where the rest of my title lay. So now I'm just sprinkling some of these stars in 2 different shades of blue, and I didn't want to overdo it, but I just wanted, again, your eye to be drawn across the page where the mists are. So I'm laying some down here, and I'm off camera for a second or two because my glue kept getting stuck in the tube, so I'm using a needle to sort of poke it out. And this probably wasn't the best way to adhere these stars. I'm not quite sure what the best way would have been other than stapling, because you can see the glue in the lighter stars. The darker ones you can't see the glue through because I only used a small dot, but in the lighter stars you can. So that's where I end up, you'll see moving the enamel dot out of the O and so, and I move it on top of a few of the stars to sort of distract the eye from the fact that the glue's underneath. So you should see that here in a second. Yeah, here I go, sort of laying them around. And these enamel dots are from the fluorescent collection from Freckled Fawn. So now I'm going to just give you some close-up views, and then there'll be some photos to follow. Thanks, guys, for watching.